take a look later, try to solve yourself, and then you will understand better. So we can go to the next problem next. And luckily next two problems we solved last week itself. So I am hoping that you guys are familiar with the question and solution, hopefully. But now with this knowledge, this should ideally become relatively easy to think like why we are building this, how it is helping me to solve this problem. So next greater element is the next problem. You are given two array like num1, num2, and here we are given that number 1 is subset of number 2. Okay, and what you have to find, like what is the next greater element for 4, but not in this array, not in number 1 array. You have to look into the number 2 array, like what is the bigger number after 4. So if you look at it, there is no number which is greater than number 1. So that's why we will say -1. No one is greater than 4. For 1, we will look at number 2. We'll find 1 here. And what is the number which is greater than 1? It's 3, the immediate guy. So that's the value 3 here. Same with 2. We'll first look into this array 2. What is greater than 2? And next means like towards right, there is nothing, so it's -1. So guys, question, forget about this. For example, like I don't like this mapping and all, like just don't think about it, just make it simpler. You are given an array, and if I am asking you to figure out what is the next number greater than 1 towards right. Do you already know the solution or not? Based on today's discussion, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yes,
we in the first, like, basic itself, we have found the solution for this particular problem and many more, like 4 problems actually similar to this. So this should become mechanical, that hey, I actually already know the answer for it, that it's just like, I don't have to think while solving this, that I know answer for 1, 3, 4, 2. I can just use a like decreasing stack in this particular case, because we are looking at a larger number. Whenever you look at larger, then you build a decreasing stack. So, okay, now the problem will reduce to, okay, if I have this information, then what the leftover, what is the problem? So then problem is just basically mapping. Like when I see 4, then I will look at, hey, where does 4 lies here? Okay. And what was the value for 4? It was -1. Okay. And let me fill that value here, -1. So it's a very small problem. Let me try to just, in 5 minutes, let me just try to make it clear. Maybe there are some guys who didn't go through the session. So I will just try to solve it. So your number was, number 1 is 412. So 412, this is num1. I am going to spend whole my time on number 2 because it is like superset. 1 3 4 2. So guys, we know the solution for this. What is greater than 1 is 3. What is greater than 3 is 4. What is greater than 4 is nothing. For 2 also towards it, there is nothing. With the theory which we just discussed, we have the answer for this already calculated. And for number 1 here, if I have to solve Okay, so what I will do, for 4 I know the solution is here. For 1 I know the solution is here, right? And for 2 solution is here. So what will you do?
While going through the number two,
Mm-hmm.
put them in a map, because like
Right.
while we are creating the array, because
Mm-hmm.
the ultimate goal is while we go through the number one array again,
Right.
we should be able to figure out what what's against four or
Exactly.
one or two.
Yep.
So are we storing in the memory and using that instead of calculating? Is that so?
We are storing in memory thus this solution. That's the approach I'm going through. And as Gaurav said, what all you are left is just to map this thing. So when I am going through, because I have to answer for this guy, that what, like for value 4, the question is what is the value in number 2 which is greater than 4 towards right. I have the solution for this guy already calculated. So all I have to do is map it. So instead of in array, what we are saying, okay, for 1 the value is 3, for 3 the value is 4, for 4 the value is -1, and for 2 the value is -1. Now when this guy looks for value, he will say, okay, what's the value for 4? Just a simple key lookup, and he can say, okay, so this value should be -1, whatever is the value. For 1, it will look into this map again. Answer is 3, so this will be 3. For 2, it will go through this, and the value will be -1. So the same process, but instead of array, we are putting this value in a map to facilitate this faster lookup. Any questions? No questions. Maybe, yeah, we solved this problem recently. So now you know like why we build this kind of stack in more detail. So we are done with this problem. Let's go to the next